Ramsey Network, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help you get control of your money, get ahead in your career, and get on the path to living well. I'm George Campbell, your host, joined today by best-selling author, host of The Rachel Cruz Show. You guessed it, it's Rachel Cruz. And we are excited to take your calls about life and money at 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Nick joins us up first in Birmingham, Alabama. Nick, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, George and Rachel, how y'all doing today?
We're doing great. How can we help?
Good. Well, real quick, I just wanted to say that my wife and I paid off all of our student loans last year, and, that's created so much positive momentum for us, and we're going to be paying off the house within the next couple of years, and so we don't regret it one bit. So,
nice, Nick.
We'd love
Congratulations.
to hear it, Nick. Way to go, man. How can we help today?
So kind of along the same lines, I have a couple of young kids, and I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and I was just curious with these morons in Washington keep on making these student loans and people keep on accepting them. I guess a concern of mine is tuition cost is going to skyrocket over the next 10, 15 years. And so I was just wondering if you had any feedback or advice on how to look at these 529 plans in terms of how much to contribute, when is enough? Is college even going to make sense in 15 years? And just wanted to see if y'all had any feedback on that.
Yeah, well, the college discussion, it's an interesting one, not just because of the news in the last 48 hours, but also I think that there was conversations before that happens on what is college going to be. The questions that you're asking, Nick, I think we all kind of are. I'm like, I don't know.
The future of education.
My kids are exactly your kids' ages, and I'll tell you, my husband and I still contribute to a 529 for each of our 3 kids. We're still doing the path because at the end of the day, I'm like money invested in that. If they choose to go to college, it's going to be there. And we kind of will continue to check in on that throughout the years because it is going to be a lengthy process, right? Still 10, 15 years till that happens. But I mean, there's a little bit of me, I'm like, it's a question mark of what education is going to look like, what it's going to be like, what the price is going to do. Is it going to continue to go up, or is there going to be a huge backlash from our culture? And
what your kids will want to study and where they'll want to go to school.
And honestly, the trade route has become even more popular. Even if you want to get into, coding and make great money, you just got to go to code school and then you don't need a college degree. So it's just fascinating. I feel like what the discussion is as a culture, Nick, but I can just tell you what I'm doing. We are continuing to fund a 529 for our kids because I do think at the end of the day, if there is a question, I think having a college degree, having higher education, I think it is a great thing. And if I can provide the financial assistance alongside my kids, I am going to do that. But I think it is, and all of us Ramsey personalities, even kind of different, various opinions, Ken would probably say, I would give it a different answer than I would.
And Deloney's got a different opinion on education. But
yeah, what do you think, George?
I just think we can prepare for the future without worrying about the future. And a lot of people, they're doing both, and sometimes that means they're doing less preparing and more worrying. And so the fact that you're even calling and wondering about this with a 5 and 2-year-old makes me feel like, all right, Nick's got a game plan. You're on track to pay off your house. We're on track to save for college. Now, if you had a 17-year-old and you haven't even talked about college, I'd be more worried right now. But the fact that you are getting ahead of this thing, and if you just contribute to this 529 and go, all right, our goal is to have $100,000 by the time they're 18, and let's see what things do as they get there over the next 12, 15 years. And at that point, we'll have a much better picture of what your kids are going to be going after. They may want to go into the trades, and they can still use that money towards that. You can change the beneficiary in the 529 at any time. It can be used for anyone in the family. So I'm less worried about overfunding it, and I'm more worried about underfunding it. So I think it's okay to lean towards the other side.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thanks for the call. Yeah, the best thing you can do as a parent, and in my eyes, Rachel, obviously you have kids and they're young and so you're thinking about this stuff, but it's having the conversations early and helping them figure out what that path is. Because a lot of kids just wander into a degree they think sounds good, that they think will pay well with a job at the end of it, without actually figuring out, well, what am I wired to do? What am I passionate about? What would fuel me versus what would put food on the table?
That too, but also to be like a little bit against that. I'm like, at 18, how do you know?
You don't.
Right? Like, that's what's hard too, is you get a degree. And I even have a great friend, and she got an accounting degree. So she's an accountant, very successful, but she hates it. And she's like, but I got a degree in this. This is all I've done. And so, like, it's just, I do hate that I'm like, as these 18-year-olds, you kind of get boxed in.
Or the pressure of like, you better have it all figured out at 18.
I know. But then also it's like, yeah, but getting a college degree in a lot of fields helps you.
You're going to sink a lot of money and time to the next 4 years.
So it is. It's an interesting perspective to really look into in what is the ROI of a college degree these days. And to your point, though, also, what are you passionate about? I mean, I know kids that they're like, school's just not my thing. It's not my thing. And some parents force them to still go get a 4-year degree.
Oh, that's the worst.
Some don't. I mean, it's just, it's a fascinating conversation.
Yeah.
And then in the last 48 hours too, it's kind of blown up. So.
And so the culture I grew up in was a Middle Eastern culture. And it's very much, you're kind of pressured to go be an engineer or go be in medicine because those are good, respectable, reputable fields that pay well. And it ends up great for a lot of those people. But a lot of times you wake up after you get your degree and you go, I don't want to be an engineer. This is not what I was put on earth to do. And so there's both sides. We don't want to put too much pressure on the kids, but we also don't want to just let them figure it out on their own. We can help them along the way.
Exactly. Well said. Well said,
Good
George.
stuff there, Rachel. All right, let's go to Sean in Chicago. Sean, welcome to the show.
Hi guys. Happy Friday.
You as well. How can we help?
Yeah, so I had a cool question. So I'm 24 years old, been living at home with the parents, and I'm actually interested in moving out soon. I'm debt-free. I have $13,000 saved for a move-out budget. This was just like a cushion for rent in case I was going to go to rent. But I'm also now thinking about maybe putting that as a down payment on a condo. And I'm not like teeter-tottering on whether it would be better to like rent. Chicago's rent is ridiculously expensive here. And I've been thinking about like either, renting or buying. And I really do want to buy because I want to own some equity. But tell me what you guys think.
Is that your emergency fund too? That $13,000?
No. 13,000 is just for the move-out budget. I have an additional 17,000 in my bank account.
Oh, great.
And John, do you see yourself in that area for the foreseeable future?
Definitely around the Chicagoland area.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the formula we kind of run the numbers through when it comes to getting a mortgage is that you, on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage, you put down, if you're a new homeowner, it could be 5-10%. If you can hit that 20%, that's great because you can avoid PMI. And that your monthly payment is your mortgage payment is no more than a fourth of your take-home pay. So if you find something in that range, I would be totally fine if you decide to buy. I think that's great. And I think moving out of your parents' house too, Sean, is great. I know people kind of that's part of their story as they transition into real life. But I think you get a sense of like adulthood and dignity when you're like, okay, I'm on my own. And I think I encourage that greatly. So if you're not quite at that formula, renting is totally fine until you have enough money saved for a good down payment and making sure you get what you want.
Yeah, jump on our website, Sean. We've got a great mortgage calculator, and you might need to rent for another year and stack up cash, but that is the wise thing to do if that's what you got to do. Thanks for the call. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
to the Ramsey Show. This is your friendly reminder that you can come visit us and watch the show live. We just hung out with a bunch of the guests out there that came by to see us. We're just south of Nashville, Tennessee. We've got free baked goods, free coffee, a free mug. There's a timeline history wall, and you can watch the show on the glass, and we come out every hour. So come hang out with us in Nashville if you're in the area. It's a free call, 888-825-5225. I'm George Campbell, joined today by Rachel Cruz. We're taking your calls on life and money. Annie joins us up next in Topeka, Kansas. Annie, welcome to the show.
Hi. I was just wondering if, with my refund check from the government for student loans, if I should use it toward my mortgage or if I should use it to be generous or help somebody out.
That's a very sweet question. Now, Annie, this is all conjecture, right? This is theoretical. If and when you get the refund?
Yes.
Okay. I was like, did you already get the refund? Am I hearing things? Okay.
Well, I did talk to my loan provider, and they were like, okay, we issued the refund. You should see it in your account.
Wow. This is big news.
So, yeah,
okay.
It's like, whoa.
So you guys are in baby steps 4, 5, and 6?
Yes.
Okay. How much is left on the mortgage?
A lot. We just bought the house. So.
Okay. Cool. And you're wondering, should I be generous with it? What do I do with the money when I get it, is your question.
Right.
Okay. Well, I would apply it to the baby steps, and if you want to give a portion of that, I think it's a great thing to do, if that's what your hearts are driving you towards. But definitely apply it to that mortgage. Do you know if it's going to be a certain amount? Is it 10?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Rachel, what are your thoughts on this?
My husband is going to apply as well. So.
And he would get another 10 there?
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I would just keep throwing it. You definitely can give some for sure. I mean, obviously there's never a negative when you're giving. And so using the remainder though to continue to whether you guys are saving up to replace a car, if that's in the equation, if there's any big purchase coming up, you can obviously use it for that, or just throw it there at the mortgage at baby step 6 would be very smart. That'll
feel good to see that balance go down.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the question, Annie. Appreciate it. Lois, is it Lois? Joins us in San Jose. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did, George, and it's a Lois that you met before. Thank you for taking my call.
Oh, wonderful. How are you doing today?
Yes,
how can we help?
I was with you. I'm doing great. I was there June 10th for my debt-free scream.
Yes.
So my question, so I am just about to complete baby step 3, and I am saving for a new car. As you know, the craziness in California, they are going to stop all the gas-powered cars. I want to get a reliable electric car. So I am trying to save for that, and I wanted to know how the sinking funds work. That's my question today.
Awesome.
I've heard Dave talk about it, but I am not very familiar with how it works.
How close are you to finishing baby step 3 with the fully funded emergency fund?
So I'm hoping by end of September, and I wanted to save for another maybe 3 months or 4 months for my car.
Great.
So by end of December, yeah.
Do you have a number in mind of how much you're wanting to spend on that car?
I want to spend $20,000.
$20,000. Okay. What's your income?
Yes. My income, and I just got a pay raise. Thanks to God, I have luck with you guys. So it's going to be $230,000.
Wow, that's awesome. Are you married?
Job.
Yes, I'm married.
Fantastic. Well, way to go. You guys are crushing through these baby steps, and I would say it's getting time for the upgrade in the car. And you've definitely decided electric, which Rachel and I are fans.
We love a good love a good plug-in car. It's great.
Which ones do you have?
Rachel and I both, we are famously now Tesla owners because Dave rags on us on air every chance he gets that we drive batteries with wheels as I plug in next to his truck.
I was going to buy a Tesla 3 years ago on credit until I met Dave and Rachel and everyone of you.
Oh, thank goodness. We saved you. That's awesome.
So good.
You saved me.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Well, to answer your question, how sinking funds work, it really is just putting a specific number aside every month until you reach your goals. So I don't know if there's I know you said you kind of have a time frame, which is great, but it would just be backing out of that and saying, okay, over the next, if
we can put $4,000 a month in a savings account, in 5 months we'll have $20,000.
Okay. Okay. So that's how it works.
Yes, it's pretty simple.
It's in a special. Yeah.
And some people, I think, George, you might be one of these people, that opens up a separate account.
Yeah, I do like to have a separate savings account because you can do them online.
Yes.
Very easily. Just open a new savings account.
Yep.
And put it in there. That way, it's not in there with your emergency fund and with the Christmas fund, and it gets a little jumbled.
Yes. So that stresses George out. So, Lois,
I'm a little OCD,
if you want a separate savings account for this, you totally can do that. Or if you just keep track of it and know, okay, I'm putting this money aside, and I know I'm going to be writing a check for a new car in 5 months, and it's going to be this amount, and it's great. So it really is just planning ahead and saying, I need to set aside a specific amount of money per month to reach my goal when my goal comes. So.
I love it. Thanks so much for the question, Lois. And I wish you luck in finding a Tesla for $20,000. If you do, call us back. I will be very, very impressed. You may need to spend a little more than that, but with your income, you guys could swing it. It may mean waiting another month or two and spending 30,
well, I saw
35.
the California, I don't know, I shouldn't speak on it because I don't know it that well, but I saw it come through that they don't want to sell gas-powered cars, I want to say.
Wow.
In the next decade. I think it's
goal.
until 2035. Yeah.
Thank you, producer James.
So, Lois, you have a little bit of time. You got a little bit of time. So even if you wanted to, save over 8 months and save some more money and get a different electric car.
Depending on what stage of life that car is at. We'll see.
That's true.
All right. Thanks for the call. Natalie joins us up next in Virginia Beach. Natalie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Sure.
So my question is, if my husband and we have a chunk of change in our savings account, should we pay down our mortgage, or if we're contemplating moving within the next 3-ish years, should we continue to save up to put a bigger down payment on a future home, which will probably have a higher interest rate?
Interesting. Well, I would tell you to put it towards the current mortgage.
Yeah, because when you sell your current home to buy your new home, whatever was the equity, you could use that as the down payment as well.
Well, that's another snippet. We would like to keep this home and use it as a rental in the future.
Gotcha. Okay, well, that does change. That changes some of it because I would want that current home that you guys are in completely paid off.
We don't want you to have two mortgages.
I don't want you to have two mortgages.
The interest rate is lower?
Say again?
Even if the interest rate would probably be significantly lower?
Yes, even if the interest rate's lower. Yeah, having two mortgages is not ideal. So if you guys want to get in the real estate game, you could, again, put this extra money, the savings you have on your current mortgage, sell the house, use some of it for a down payment, and then even say, okay, let's save up. Or maybe you get the next house you put 20% down or whatever's remaining what am I trying to say?
For the investment property?
No, for the investment property to pay with cash for the investment property. So basically, if you want to kind of dip your toe into that world, getting something, even just like a condo, I mean, you could do something and pay cash for it, because whenever you do investment real estate, we always recommend doing it with cash and starting small. So that could be the option that you guys want to do. But no, I would not keep your current home and buy a new home and have two mortgages, because the rental idea, it sounds great, and a lot of people think oh yeah, it's easy money, and
You're
it
gonna
is.
Pay the mortgage for me, Rachel.
It's great passive income, but then you don't realize, oh wow, there's actual people that are living there and they may not pay, or I have to find new renters. It ends up being almost like this part-time job. Yeah. So just to give you guys some breathing room and margin and cushion, I would not have two mortgages.
Yeah, I'd focus on one thing right now, and that is paying off your current mortgage as fast as you can. And I like doing it towards the current mortgage because it's a forced savings plan. It creates automatic discipline because the money's not floating out there and you can use it towards who knows what. But I love the spirit of the question, and I hope you guys become real estate investors very, very soon. Thanks so much for the question. 888-825-5225. I'm George Camel. That's Rachel Cruz. We are here for you. Give us a call. This is The Ramsey Show.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
I'm George Camel, host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership Podcast, joined today by Rachel Cruz, host of The Rachel Cruz Show. You can find all of those shows, including this one, The Ramsey Show, on the Ramsey Network and wherever you listen to podcasts. All right, Rachel, it's Friday. We like to have some fun, and that means reacting to videos on the internet that James sends us. And the latest one is a fun one because it's Gary Vaynerchuk, who I find personally very entertaining,
Yes.
generally insightful. He's got a potty mouth, so, luckily this clip is safe.
Prepare your hearts.
This clip is safe. It's radio friendly, guys.
Okay.
Don't worry. The FCC's not coming after us. But he's talking about investing. Now, he's a social media expert, entrepreneur, author, speaker, but he's big into the trendy investments of the day, including NFTs and crypto and all that
very
stuff.
cool.
So yes, he's very cool. We disagree on a lot of things in the financial space, but he had something interesting to say because he does have his finger on the pulse of the trends that are happening out there among the youth of America. So let's see what Gary has to say.
The youth.
If you go look at TikTok accounts of 15, 16, 17-year-olds, you have 16-year-olds that have in their bio, investor. And I'm like, this is profound. What I'm seeing is a bigger convo. The rise of people saying, I'm an investor too, and then the rise of what they want to invest in. So now you've got 15 to 30-year-olds that think about investing, but they don't want to buy a one-family bedroom and make recurring revenue on rent. They want to buy a pair of Nikes that are going to go up 2x. They want to buy John Morant rookie cards. They want the NFT to put in their social media profile, and they want it to go up. That's very different than buying 75 shares of Turner, because investing is now more pop culture and fashion. Everyone now sees it as a viable cultural thing you do, and they just are gonna do it in new stuff. So alternative investments, that is a big deal, and it hasn't begun.
Interesting.
And it hasn't begun.
He's teasing it, Rachel. This is the future we're living in. It's no longer just Pokemon cards.
But I feel like people always kind of did that kind of stuff, though. I mean, not like NFTs, obviously, but I feel like...
But now with social media, it's a different ballgame because it's like a flex now to have this facade of like, I'm an investor. Like, that's who I am as a person.
It's such a funny word. I knew a guy, one of my cousin's friends, and he would come to drive to Nashville, because we have a Nike outlet in Cool Springs outside of Nashville. And he would come and like rack up, and he had an online store, and he would sell shoes. That was like his thing, and he'd drive around, but he also had like a full-time job, but it was like this side thing. And
his side hustle.
But I feel like it paid pretty well, so I'm like, I mean, great. That's awesome.
Well, these people are passionate about a certain little, niche, whether it's shoes or NFTs, and they kind of make it a side hustle, and they might make a little money, and sometimes it turns into a full-time gig for some people.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing, but it can't be your only thing. Like when you're still not, in my opinion, investing in the things that have a long track record, that are predictable, that you know what's going to happen, aka the market or 401ks, Roth IRAs, like especially with retirement, like that stuff for me is still a no-brainer. And then once you've done that and you want to go dabble in something with some money, knowing it's kind of a gamble, I mean, that's your prerogative. That's what you want to do. But, but it's fascinating how it's trendy, though, which I kind of appreciate. I'm so glad money has become like being smart.
It's cool to talk about now. Which is fun. But there is a piece of this where anything, I've said, if you follow the trends, you will fall for the traps. And that is my worry with what's
100%.
happening, is that these folks are falling into NFTs and they spend $2,000 on an NFT and they go to try to resell it and nobody wants it for $10. And that's what we're seeing.
Which is happening.
Yes.
That whole industry.
It's a reality that I was worried about.
Absolutely tanked. Absolutely tanked. So it's all a gamble. Like when you're doing something new and what's on trend, it's a gamble. You have to know that. So don't.
So we're not mad at that stuff. Just to be clear, we're not like, no, those get off my lawn. It's just more of a, if you're following our baby steps, you're investing 15% of your income into retirement, meaning your 401ks, your IRAs, mutual funds, before we start going, all right, we're going to have some play money. We're going to invest in some shoes, some crypto. We're not mad at that. But don't make that your investing plan overall. That is not a good strategy.
Because honestly, the crypto and the NFT, the way it's gone, is not good.
Not good at all.
Not good. So
I know someone, Rachel, very personally, who put their entire life savings into Dogecoin.
No.
We're talking over $400,000.
George, I'm right here.
James is right there. I wish I could say it was James. It wouldn't make me happy. I don't wish that for James. But out of all the smart people in my life, that's not James. That 400-something thousand turned into 80,000.
Oh, man.
And now they are in debt to Fidelity for hundreds of thousands of dollars for margin calls. And it's greed is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's get rich quick, and it's what we rally against every day here at Ramsey Solutions. For 30 years, Dave has been rallying against this culture of get rich quick. And the trends change. It used to be zero down real estate and gold and buy this course, and now it's sneakers.
Yep.
Who knew?
Who knew?
So it's part of what we do at our Building Wealth event, Rachel, which we didn't mean, this is not a pitch, but it's what we do at this Building Wealth event. We've been taking around the country. We've got 4 or 5 of these events this fall, and Dave does a great talk about what he's seen in 30 years when it comes to investing and get rich quick, and then we lay out the plan to get rich the right way, and it's usually a lot slower.
It's slower and not as exciting. Can we say that, George? I feel like we would have a very exciting message
if we
were like,
had a webinar or a seminar, we had all the youth in America there, and we were like, your 401k, guys, is going to get your... They're all going to stare at us and leave.
I know.
And go buy NFTs.
We're like, go fund your 401k. It's so great.
And in 20 years, you'll be a millionaire.
And then other people are like, this is awesome, this NFT, these sneakers, all of it. Like, this is the future. This is what's happening. And it might, right? Like, I'm at the humble opinion, things may change.
I'm not mad at anyone.
But I need at least a long track record before I go and put my own money in it.
Yes. And so that is the bigger issue. And these 16, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, they're living with mom and dad probably. And some of them are amazing entrepreneurs. And I'm like, these are the kids we're all going to be working for one day. These are really sharp, amazing kids. And what I want for them is to have a long-term success, not short-term success and flail out. And they're also trying to pay off their student loan debt because they wandered into that. And they also have credit card debt and a car loan because they're flexing for the gram. And so this is where it becomes you're doing too many things at once. And you're never going to build wealth that way. That lasts.
Yep.
So there's my soapbox for the day.
It's a great soapbox.
We did it.
I think it's exciting and
Thank
cool,
you, Gary
George.
V. Gary V, keeping us up.
The culture might not, but I think you're cool, George.
Wow. Clip that one out, guys. I'm going to save that. All right, Zach joins us in Birmingham. Zach, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you guys taking my call.
Sure.
I'm going to preface this with I just drank the Ramsey juice. My wife has been preaching this for a while, but I'm on board now. So
awesome.
We are on baby step 2. I just recently sat down and built a budget with every dollar, and we have about $29,000 in student loans that I just finished my master's with. And we have just a couple of $1,000s in like medical bills from a recent birth of our child. My question to you is her parents have offered to give us the $30,000 for the student loan so it doesn't collect any money, any interest over the next couple of years. And our goal is to pay that off within the next year.
Is this a loan from the parents?
This is a loan, yes, from her parents, just to pay it off, and so they don't collect interest. And so our plan is to accept that. From my understanding, you may not suggest doing that. But my other question is, the other couple of thousand in debt is not collecting interest as a medical bill, so it's just on a payment plan. What do I still keep my 6% out of my match 401k? So do I completely not contribute to that since this money is not taxable or I'm not gaining interest, or do I go ahead
Zach,
and
how much do you make a year?
Sure, I make $105,000 to $110,000 a year.
Okay, awesome, Zach. So no, do not take the loan from the parents. Suddenly you become in this entangled relationship where you owe them money and the borrower is slave to lender. It changes everything. You guys make great money. I would knock all of this out.
Pause the 401k.
And then pause the 401k, knock all this debt out, press play on the 401k a year from now once you're debt free and have a fully funded emergency fund. You guys can do this. You're trying to math your way out of it. Just focus, pay it off, and you guys get ahead on your own because you can. You can, Zach. You guys got this.
Folks, with the rising cost of everything these days, a lot of people are worried about not having enough money in their bank accounts to get through the month. And the good news is no matter where you're at with your money today, and no matter the state of the economy, you can get on a path to building wealth. At our Building Wealth live events, you'll learn simple, common sense principles to build real, lasting wealth. And this tour it's going swimmingly. We've already sold out 2 nights, and the rest of these events are on track to sell out real soon. So if you're thinking about joining us, do not wait to get your tickets. Phoenix, September 12th, that's a new one we added. So you can get tickets to that because the next night, the 13th, is sold out. Sacramento, November 1st, sold out. Minneapolis, November 10th, we've got a few tickets left. And San Antonio to finish out the season on November 15th. Passes start at just $25, or you can get a 4-pack starting at $60. Go to RamseySolutions.com/events to reserve your seats now. Rachel Cruz will be there. I'll be there. Dave Ramsey, Ken Coleman, John Deloney, the whole gang. And it's a really, really fun time, and we love being out there meeting you all across the country. RamseySolutions.com/events. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why they are the #1 online retailer of custom window covering. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from David in North Dakota. My wife and I have been married for a few years and are discussing having children. Currently, we have individual medical plans through our employers since it's cheaper. My coverage is with a high deductible plan, which allows me to contribute to an HSA. My wife wants to be a stay-at-home mom, so the entire family would be enrolled through my employer. Since children have significantly higher medical expenses than I do individually, would it make more sense to stick with the high deductible plan and pay for larger medical expenses out of pocket or my HSA funds? Or should we switch to a high premium, lower deductible plan to cover the known large expenses? Oh, the old insurance question.
It's a classic. It's a classic. So this is something that my wife and I do currently. Here at Ramsey, we have the employer-sponsored healthcare, high-deductible healthcare plan with an HSA, and we do it individually because we don't have kids, so it's actually cheaper.
Yeah.
And so he's saying, hey, once we go, my wife stays at home, it's all on me, I'm on a family plan now. Do I stick with that HSA, high deductible plan, or switch to the higher premium, lower deductible plan? And we usually say if you have a lot of known health issues, medical things going on, you're better off with a higher premium, lower deductible. But we just don't know what life's going to look like. These kids could be very healthy, and you might be better off with the high deductible.
Yeah, if you have the cash available and you guys especially are in a place where you're like, yeah, we have an emergency fund if something like huge happens, I would tend to say the higher deductible and pay out of pocket so you're paying lower monthly or your health insurance, for everything else is lower when you're paying for it. So,
and you have the difference with whatever the premium costs. It's going to be a lower premium, so you can take the difference and put that
That's right, into
in the
savings
HSA
as well. Totally. Yeah.
And the HSA is one of my favorite things, the health savings account, because it's triple tax benefit. It goes in tax-free, it grows tax-free, you withdraw it tax-free. And you can invest the money once it's past the certain threshold, which is awesome.
Yes,
and that can be part of retirement.
It is, yeah, totally. Yep, use it. So that's what I would say. I would still stick with a higher deductible, especially if you guys are in a good financial position.
And you can always switch it later on if there's known medical issues that come up. It may make more sense to switch, but for now, I'm sticking with the high deductible plan with the HSA. That's my final answer.
Final answer.
If this was Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Love that show.
50-50, George.
All right, let's go to the phones. 888-825-5225. Marie joins us in Myrtle Beach. Marie, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. I am 65. I will reach the full retirement age early next year in April. I still work full time. I do have an emergency fund. I also still have a mortgage, but I only have about $100,000 in retirement. So I'd like to get your advice on. I own my own business, and I'd like to, when I start drawing Social Security next year, I'd like to cut back a little bit, and I'm not talking much, but maybe a third.
Of how much time you're spending in the business?
Yes.
Which would lower your income?
I'm kind of on burnout. Yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm.
What's your current income?
Well, I'm set up to where I pay myself a very small salary through the business right now.
What did you report on your taxes last
year? Just enough to. Well, my W-2 was like $40,000. So I pay myself a small amount, and then.
So let's say $40K.
I can leave it. That's how much I pay myself through W-2.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's left on the mortgage?
$230.
Okay.
$230.
How much do you have in the business, Marie? Did you say you're paying yourself a small salary? I'm assuming everything else are you investing it back in the business? Like, is that other money being spent, or is it in a
I have very low overhead in the business. So I leave all the, I'm typically there's about $50,000 in cash in the business pretty much at all times.
In a savings account?
No, just in the checking account.
Okay. Cool. And you're asking us, how can I retire with some dignity here, knowing I have $100,000 to my name?
Right.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I don't see myself ever just completely not working unless I can't for some reason. But, I've really not done a good job, obviously, and I don't have any other debt except for my mortgage. And I'd just like some advice on how can I build that up. I'm throwing everything I can at the mortgage, the principal on the mortgage each month to try to get that down.
How much how much equity do you have in the house? So you said you owe $230 in the mortgage. What's the house worth?
Probably right now I could get about $5 out of it.
Okay. Do you live alone?
Yes.
Okay. I'm wondering, because this is a pretty massive mortgage to be heading into retirement, could you sell and buy something with cash with the remaining, let's call it $230?
Yeah. I've listened to Dave long enough that I knew that probably was going to be the one option at least. The reason my mortgage is so high is because really a couple years ago, the opportunity to be in my retirement home just kind of fell in my lap, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to do this. Probably, maybe not the best decision, but so when I start thinking about that, I'm like, okay, do I give up what I considered to be my retirement home which is right on the coast, happiness for retirement,
Well, you're not
But
going
I
to
know
really
that
going to
is
be able
one
to.
option.
Yes, because this mortgage, Marie. It's not going to allow you to really retire because it's going to take you a long time to pay it off, and you don't have, you have $100,000, which is great that's what you have, but in a case, this house could be the thing stopping you to retire. Like if you could imagine, yes, living somewhere else but not having a mortgage, suddenly what you have to earn per month to live significantly goes down when you don't have a mortgage payment that you have to worry about. It changes the scope of your retirement. I mean, it really does. And I think our homes, we get so emotionally attached to them because they are. I mean, they're a sacred place in our lives. It's it's our homes. But what ends up happening is we put so much stock of our happiness in these four walls versus what you actually create in a home. And so I think I would love to see you be able to retire early with a sense that you don't have to worry about paying for a mortgage, and that would be including selling the house.
Yeah, the theme here is that this house is not the dream you thought it would be because you're not going to be able to put food on the table and survive, but you get to live in this house. So we're going to have to make some hard decisions here, but you can retire with dignity. We just have to make some sacrifices to get there.
You got it, Marie.
Thanks for the call. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube. From Ramsey Network, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help you get control of your money, get ahead in your career, and get on the path to living well. I'm George Camel, your host, joined today by Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz. And we are so excited to take your call today, so give us one. 888-825-5225 is the number to call. That's 888-825-5225. Rachel is, she's sipping on an Americano from the Ramsey Cafe. She's eating a chocolate chip cookie. We're having a good time.
I'm enjoying my Friday.
She's really living it up.
I am not a coffee.
I'm over here pulling all the weight, Rachel. Can you pick up some slack?
Just know, I am not a coffee snob. I'm like, give me a Keurig coffee. Just like, I'm good. I am good.
I thought you had standards,
Give me
Rachel.
a Waffle House, black coffee, plain, like anything. I'm just no cream, no sugar, just black coffee. Anyways, I have been, our cafe...
They don't fool around.
They do great fancy drinks, and I always just get a black coffee anywhere I go. But the old Americano,
you can't beat it. It's a James Child's original favorite.
Is
from
it
our producer.
James?
It's his favorite. He's an Americano
like Americanos?
guy.
You like an Americano?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially iced.
This is why people tune into the show, guys.
new.
You thought you were coming here for some financial advice, some life-changing information. We just found out our producer James Child's favorite drink. That's all. Let's go to the phones where we are more useful. Brandon joins us in Jackson, Mississippi. Brandon, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
We're doing great, man. How can we help?
Yeah, so currently in my life right now, I am about to start a new job in IT, making about $40,000 base pay. But the main issue right now is that I do still live with my parents right now at 29, and I fell victim to the trend of van life, if you've ever heard of that.
What is it?
Van life?
Van life.
Yeah, where you like live in a van and not down by the river, but you like travel around the country with it, right?
Is that what you're talking about?
Basically.
Yeah,
so
you like gutted a van and put like a whole living situation.
I thought it was like a whole life insurance company.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. You're literally talking about, I bought a van, I'm going to live in it?
Yes, that was the idea.
Yep.
And boy, was that, man.
Tell us why that was a bad idea.
I can tell you quite a few reasons why. First of all, where are you going to actually stay once you have it figured out and converted? But and really the biggest problem now is just debt, because I was dumb enough to take out a loan with Chrysler Capital. And I used to work retail not too long ago, but I'm still in debt like $30,000.
Is that all of your debt?
Yes.
Okay. No student loans, no credit cards, no other cars?
No.
Is this your only vehicle?
Well, here's the thing. I do still live with my parents, and they do have a vehicle that barely works, but it is better than nothing for as far as commuting to my new job. And we're trying to get that fixed up, just as a stopgap.
What's the van worth?
So the van, I bought it at, I would say, 35. No. I think it was around 40.
So the van you bought for 40.
What could you sell it for today?
I really don't know, and I'm trying to figure out what would be the best course of action. I mean, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have done this at all. I would never have done this and put myself in debt like this. It's taking forever to pay off on my financing and all that.
Well, I want you to know we have all done a lot of dumb things with money. You're not the first one, so don't feel too special. And know that this is one of the better, I'm not going to say good types of debt, but better because it's somewhat reversible because we can actually sell this. You can't sell your degree that has student loans attached. So that's what we want you to do your homework on and figure out from Kelley Blue Book, go to kbb.com, find out the actual value you can get private to sell it. And if it's less than 30, then we need to make up the difference with some cash quickly. How much money do you have in the bank account?
Right now, so I've been out of. I did something even more dumb. I left work without actually securing my new job. But yeah, great, right? So I only have $5,000 right now.
That's great.
You're fine.
I thought you were going to say $5.
No.
Okay, Brandon, hey, stop beating yourself up, buddy. That's A1 is to stop beating yourself up and go, listen, we did some dumb things. We're going to clean this mess up. We're never going to do it again.
Right.
That's the only time when it's done, when you keep doing it over and over.
Yes.
Okay. I know you got to look into this because this van is a very unique van. You can live in it basically. So if you were to just throw a number out, even lowball it, you think you can get $15,000 for it? Think someone else buy it for 15, 20? 10?
I think the biggest problem for me would be to actually find somebody. This is a really, really niche sort of thing right now.
Sure.
How special is this van?
Well, isn't it a work
it's
van?
not
Could it be used as a work van?
Yeah. What if you took everything out?
Right.
Did you already convert it?
Yeah, that's the thing. And I only have I just have to finish the shower and maybe a bit of plumbing, but other than that.
I wouldn't put any more money in it.
Right.
Okay.
I feel like that would be a bad idea.
Yeah. I wouldn't fit. I would let someone else finish it out that wants this type of
There's
van,
another Brandon out there who has a dream to live in the van who is actually going to go through with this.
Hey, on Instagram, it looks glorious via Instagram.
Don't fall for it.
I sit
Don't fall for it.
I know. Okay, so let's just pretend. Let's just lowball it. Let's just say 10.
I think you can get 20 for this at least. I mean, this is a pretty. Is this a brand new van?
Yes,
2021.
The 2021
started last year.
Okay, I know. I just want to give him worst case. Let's just pretend worst case scenario.
Very optimistic. I love it.
Let's go $15,000. Let's just pretend you can sell it for $15,000. Okay, you're going to still owe 15. You're going to be able to put some money, some of the savings that you have. So now your debt's down to 10. You want to keep $1,000, so I guess that's more like 11,000.
Yes.
And then Brandon, you're going to work. You're going to work extra. You're going to be working nights. You're going to be working weekends. You're going to work. I'm not mad at you still staying at your parents for just a period of time on a plan, knowing, okay, I can pay all of this off. I'm living on nothing. I'm going to throw the rest of this 15. I'm going to get paid off in 3 months. And I'm going to be moving out of my parents January 1. My goal is to rent somewhere. I don't want you buying anything.
Right.
To
That's
rent
exactly
somewhere.
My goal.
Yeah, to rent somewhere and then save up for a big emergency fund, a down payment during all of that time. And then you can look ahead at buying. But Brandon, you could be in a totally different position in 6 months. You really could. I feel like you sound down on yourself, you sound hopeless, but when you run numbers, and again, I did worst case scenario for the van, maybe someone will pay $25,000 for it, and that is a whole other wonderful thing that gets
Just spice up the description on Craigslist
to forward on this. But
tiny home on wheels.
Yeah,
$25,000.
Right.
Anyways, I think Brandon, in 6 months, if you really stay focused, you have a written out plan, drive the crappy car your parents have for a little bit.
Yes.
I think that's totally fine if they're willing to do that and assist in that, and then save up and buy your own car. I mean, there's some pieces in here that can work, especially since you're able to work nights, you're able to work weekends, you don't have a lot of expenses. You really, in 6 months, could have a totally different life financially and otherwise.
I love it. And we want to help you out, Brendan. We're going to send you Financial Peace University for free. That will include every dollar premium. It's going to get you on a budget. I want you to watch all the video lessons to get fired up about getting yourself out of the situation and never, ever going back into debt again. We're cheering you on, man. Hang on the line. Austin will pick up. We'll hook you up with financial peace and every dollar. Thanks for the call. This is The Ramsey Show.
Chaos. That's what it can feel like when your business is growing so fast you've outgrown your financial and accounting software. The faster you grow, the more likely you are to lose control of the numbers. And here's the reality. If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. That's why we use NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Over 28,000 companies use NetSuite by Oracle, including Ramsey Solutions, because NetSuite gives us a single view of everything we need to make daily decisions. Whether you're making a few million to hundreds of millions a year, NetSuite gives you the visibility and control of the things you need to grow, like your financials, inventory, HR, planning, budgeting, and more, all in one dashboard. Go to netsuite.com/Ramsey right now to get their free white paper. Jumpstart your CFO career.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ramsey personality George Campbell, joined today by my fellow Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Cameron joins us up next in Poughkeepsie. Cameron, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. How are you guys?
Doing well. How can we help today?
I'm a year out of college and have some savings built up beyond my emergency fund. I'm wondering what the best way for me to invest these extra savings are. I was going to take out a mortgage on a small condo, but learned that I will not be eligible for a manual underwriting mortgage for at least a year from now.
Okay, and why is that?
I don't have the payment history built up yet.
Oh, okay. So where are you living now? Are you renting?
I'm renting a room in someone's house.
Okay. Are you sure that qualifies towards the payments? For manual underwriting?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I would just contact a lender to make sure that that counts and that there's proof, that you have proof of payments because you're renting a room out of someone's house versus it being kind of a landlord situation. Is that your landlord, the person you're living with? Or is there someone else? Okay.
Yes, they're the landlord.
And so what's your question today?
What is the wisest way for me to invest my extra savings?
How much do you have?
I have $10K in an emergency fund and a little over $30K in a savings account.
Cool.
That's great. Were you going to use the $30K as a down payment for a home?
Yes.
Okay. Then honestly, Cameron, I wouldn't invest it. I would just keep it where it is, parked for. It's just going to be a year until you can get your payment plan or proof of bills for manual underwriting, and then just put that $30K and then continue to build it up this year. I mean, if you're able to put even more cash to put a larger down payment, because you've done great. I mean, you have an emergency fund in place. You may want to beef that up a little bit if you want, depending on, what you think the maintenance and stuff is going to be for something like a condo, but it'll be one more year. And I don't like to invest it. I don't like to put my money and invest if I know I'm going to use it within 4 to 5 years. So I would keep it where it is, keep going along, and then next summer you'll be able to buy something.
Yeah, and you're 1 year out of college. Are you sure you want to stay in the Poughkeepsie area long term?
I'm not totally sure, but my job is here and I really enjoy it.
Cool. How much do you make?
98.
Awesome.
That's great.
98
Cameron.
with no debt means you can put away a lot of money over the course of the next 12 months, right?
Yeah, but my take-home pay it's surprisingly lower than I would expect.
Is that due to investing and taxes and healthcare?
I guess in taxes mostly and some healthcare.
Yeah.
Are you getting a tax refund every year?
Yes.
Okay. I might look at adjusting your withholdings to increase your take-home pay, and that way we don't have the government sitting with our money all year long and then giving it back to us. That could help.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of getting a big tax refund, the money will be back in where it should be, back in your paycheck. But also, I think too, Cameron, just to say it out loud, like there is a reality that hits when you do go into the workforce and you do see taxes, and you're like, oh, that's how. Okay, that's what it looks like. It sounds good, and then when it hits your account, you're like, wow.
Especially in certain states like New York.
Like New York. I mean, you guys, yeah, it's a lot. So that for sure is a reality. But I would keep going along and making sure that the condo you buy next year is on a 15-year, and that your payment's no more than a fourth of your take-home pay. And I think you're doing great, Cameron. You're a year out of college. There's not a rush. You're good. So
most kids a year out of college do not have $40,000 in the bank and no debt.
That's right.
So you are way ahead of the game. I would keep stacking up cash, crunch the numbers like Rachel mentioned to see how much down payment do I need in order to have that mortgage payment be no more than a quarter of my take-home pay on a 15-year fixed, doing manual underwriting. And I would get in touch with Churchill and just say, hey, Churchill Mortgage, here's what I'm trying to do. I want to get a house a year from now. I want to make sure that I'm doing this all by the book so that when I go through the manual underwriting process, there's no issues. And that will give you a great game plan of what you need, how much money you need to have down in order to – I want you to have at least 20% down. Could you do that in your area?
Yes.
Awesome. That puts you in a great spot where you're not paying PMI, private mortgage insurance, and you're going to be very young and be a homeowner and then pay that thing off. Probably by your early 30s at the latest.
Awesome.
With an income like that. Way to go, man. Thanks so much for the call. All right, Don joins us up next in Flint, Michigan. Don, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great. How can Rachel and I help?
So I'm recently looking to buy my first home, but I am very interested in real estate investing, and I am very intertwined with it. So right now, I'm not sure if I should potentially go smaller so that I can save more and start real estate investing sooner within the next year or two, or if I should kind of go bigger, set that foundation for like more of a family home so that when me and my wife are ready in the next 3 to 5 years to be ready for, to have kids, and already we feel like it'll be easier to pay off a bigger home between the two of us before we start popping out kids and things like that. We could work more hours and get it paid off sooner and things of that notion. And the bigger home would only take us about 6 years to pay off. So it's and we're only 24, the both of us. So it's we have time.
What's your income? Household?
Okay, so household income, last year we did 150. This year we're on track to do about 230.
Wow, fantastic.
Great job.
Okay, so where are you guys living right now?
Right now we're renting in Michigan, in Auburn Hills, Michigan.
Okay, how much money do you have in the bank?
I have about $50,000 in the bank, and my wife has about, I believe, $10K in the bank.
Okay. What's the reason you guys have your finances separate?
We actually recently just got married, so we haven't fully integrated yet.
Okay.
Also, she's really adamant on taking care of we weren't supposed to get married until she graduated, paid off her student loans and stuff, but we decided to make the jump sooner. And she's real adamant on, being independent and taking care of that, because that's something she's always thought of doing by herself. And I don't want to
paying off the student loans.
Yeah, things like that. So
how much does she have left?
Only has $16,000 left, and with the whole Biden thing going on, we're actually expecting maybe to wait to see if he follows through. We don't really trust them, but at the end of the day, we're waiting to see if they follow through or whatnot. Also, she has 0% interest up until, I think, 2023, sometime into 2023. So,
do you guys have any other kind of debt? Car loans, credit cards?
Yes, we also have $4,000 left on her car note.
Okay, and that's it. So we're talking $20,000 of debt total?
Yeah.
And you guys have $60,000 in the bank?
Just about, yes.
Okay.
Now, 15 of that, 15 of that is technically my emergency fund. Right?
Okay, so let's call it 35 you have liquid.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah. I don't need 15 as an emergency fund, though. I really only need about 10 at most, to be honest. But
okay. Well, looking at these numbers, here's what I'll tell you based on the Ramsey plan that has helped tons of people build wealth and invest in real estate, is that I want you completely debt-free, fully funded emergency fund, and then we're going to buy our primary house first, pay that off, then we can get into real estate investing. So I love that you guys want to do this, but it's going to be delayed if you want to do it the smart way.
Okay.
Now, if you want to get like a duplex or something, those that might be hard to find because you're not the first one to have a genius idea of having a duplex or, having a multifamily home. But you could do that and have the mortgage payment be reasonable, 25%, and then have someone live on the other side.
And
that
Dawn, too, I would encourage you guys and encourage her that, once y'all are married, y'all are a team. It's not her debt, my debt, and I understand her pride and I can do this. But listen, there's no more I in life anymore. It is a we, and you guys together can make progress so much faster. So today, I would pay off the student loans, I'd pay off the car, keep the emergency fund, and then you're gonna have $35,000 for a down payment on a great home, and I would just go for it. You guys work together as a team, you can get there so much faster.
If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
Take a whole lot of calls about real estate on the show, and right now you're hearing a lot of talking heads in the news stirring up fear about the real estate market. And if you believe them, you think the housing market is going to crash and it's going to be a repeat of the 2008 housing crisis, but you're not hearing the truth. And you can't make decisions based on fear. You need the facts. And here they are. In 2008, there was a huge supply of homes, but not enough buyer demand. So home prices dropped. But that's not what's happening in today's market. Right now, there is half as many homes for sale and twice as many buyers. This means home prices aren't going down anytime soon. They're just growing at a slower rate. We're seeing all these over-asking inflated prices come back down to reality. So if you're ready to buy or sell a home, you don't need to wait. You can still win in this market, but you need a pro in your corner. You need to work with an experienced real estate agent. And we've done the hard work of vetting those agents who know your local market and have the transactions to back it up. They've got the receipts. So if you want to connect with a Ramsey trusted agent for free, go to RamseySolutions.com/agent and check out our endorsed local providers program. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com/agent. I'm George Camel, joined by Rachel Cruz today. We're taking your calls, 888-825-5225. Veronica joins us up next in Chicago. Veronica, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, guys, for taking my call. I just have a question. I'm debt-free right now, but I feel like I'm stuck. My budget, I have to keep borrowing money from my emergency fund and then putting it back when I get paid. And my next step is to pay off my mortgage or put extra money towards my mortgage, but I can't seem to find the money. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong, guys. I'm looking for your help.
Well, thanks for the call, and congrats on becoming debt-free. And so right now you're saying you don't have the margin, so you keep going back to the emergency fund because you can't pay all of your bills without dipping into it.
Well, I I'm able to pay a month, but I have to dip into it, and then when I get my last paycheck of the month, I pay it back.
Okay, so you're saying when you're going to do your budget, it's not being planned in a way where you can actually pay all the bills at the right times.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, if my gross income for the month is about $4,800, I'm able to pay all the bills that I have for the month, but I have to borrow from my emergency fund, and then when I get that next check, pay it back.
Do you have
so
any
I feel
buffer?
like I'm doing something wrong.
Do you have
What
any
is it?
buffer in your
No.
checking account right now?
No.
So you're basically running it down to zero and then going, all right, I have to go to the emergency fund.
Yes.
So what if we started your checking account at $500 and you treat that like zero? That becomes your new baseline, and then we start to budget based off of that. Would that help?
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a good idea because I'm like, how am I going to start paying bills if my first paycheck is until like the first week or the second week of the month sometimes?
Yeah, that's where you got to find margin. That's when, and it may take you, a month or two just to cut any expenses you can, Veronica, to get a surplus there in your checking account. Because it's going backwards. I hear what you're saying, and so we want to be going forward and not touching the emergency fund. And so, for me, I would look at my budget and say, okay, I'm going to cut this, and this, keep that saved, where I'm not spending that out, whether it's cutting subscriptions, you cut your food budget down. Again, this is 1 or 2 months. This is to catch you up so that you are a paycheck ahead in your checking account to tactically pay the bills. And then when your other paycheck hits, you can use that for the bills that are, that's going the right direction.
But if you had the margin to pay off the debt, you should now have that same margin to pay your bills and get ahead and invest and pay off the house early, right?
Well, I'm already putting 15% myself and my husband towards our 401k.
Okay,
so
good.
We're doing that already. We're putting a little bit for a college fund for our daughters. But then it's like a month, there is nothing left to send extra to the mortgage.
It's tight beyond that.
Exactly, but I do get a quarterly commission paycheck. So I'm thinking, even if I have to wait every quarter and put that extra money towards the mortgage, or I don't know, but I feel like I'm not moving now.
You could use that bonus and get a month ahead in your budget to where you have the next month's budget ready to go in your checking account. That can be very helpful to a lot of people where that becomes an issue. But I think, truthfully, this is a budgeting issue. What are you using right now to create your budget and track?
I'm using the Dollar app, and I do get behind sometimes, adding the transactions that I'm using every month. But I'm using the Dollar app, and my daughter started working this weekend. She's 16 years old, so she's already into the budget app and everything.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
well,
I
there's a
think
new
I just have to
feature.
be more.
Now that you told me that, every dollar, which is what you just mentioned, our team just released a brand new feature called Paycheck Planning, and it solves this very issue. So you can go into every transaction and go, hey, this bill falls on this part of the month, and they do all the math for you to show you where that would fall, how much money you're going to have, when that money would run out, and then you can adjust based on that. So it's a great new feature. Make sure you have that app updated and check that out. I think that will help a ton.
Is that with a subscription, or I can still get that feature with a basic Dollar app?
That's a great question. I may be with premium, but what I'm going to do is gift you 1 year of premium on the house so that you can check that out and get ahead with this budget. How's that sound?
Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the tips and advice. This has really changed my life, and I'm showing it to everybody I know because it's a life-changing thing for us.
Oh, we appreciate that. Well, you changed your life, Veronica. Thank you for that. Hang on the line. Austin will pick up. We'll make sure that we send you 1 year of Every Dollar Premium, and we're going to also send you 1 year of Financial Peace University to keep you motivated along the way. Thanks so much. Julie joins us up next in Atlanta. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
You sound great. What's going on?
Okay. So before we started the baby steps and the Ramsey plan earlier this year, we had several years' worth of IRS debt. So we took out a HELOC against our home and threw all of those in there. Our home is worth about $430,000. We still owe $232,800. So the HELOC currently is only $27,600 and some change. However, we also had previously, 2 years ago, taken out a consolidation loan, which has a balance of $33,800, and that percentage rate is like 7.25, whereas the HELOC, will be locked in at 4%. So we're just not sure if it would be smart to roll that into it at a lower interest rate and just make that loan part of our, part of the HELOC and our snowball that way, or I know that's going against the equity in our home, and that's a little more risky. So I'm just not sure how to do the order of the snowball and whether to just make that part of the HELOC and then pay a truck off first or where to go.
What's left on the truck?
94, and that's at 3.49%. It would be paid off in November.
You owe $94,000? On a
No, 9,400.
Oh my gosh! I was like,
about had a panic
that's
attack.
the nicest. That's a great truck. That's a great
you
truck.
better be living in that truck for
My husband is
$94,000.
not quite that fanatic.
Okay, what's your income? Household income?
Our household income is about $140 a year.
Okay.
Monthly is $11,600 is what we bring home.
$11,600 is your take-home pay.
Yes,
And how much of that can we throw at all of this debt? If we really tighten up, get on an every dollar budget.
That's where we've paid off credit cards, and we're trying to put at least $1,500 every month towards of course our minimum payment on the consolidation loan and the.
So you have more debt, you said? What's on the credit cards?
Those were paid off with the consolidation loan. So we have nothing left on credit cards. It's just these three: the HELOC, the truck, and then the consolidation loan.
Have you cut up the credit cards?
Oh yes, I'm not
Okay.
using those.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, well, I would just still keep them separate, Julie, because with a HELOC, if you can pay it off, if it's half your annual income, then keeping it separate instead of rolling it into your mortgage and everything, I would. So I would just, I would just put that in the debt snowball versus pushing it. Some HELOCs, we'd say push to baby step 6 if it's
Right.
more than half of your annual income. But you guys, it's not. So I would keep it. I would keep it in the debt snowball.
And part of the reason I would not roll it in is part of what got you into this mess was this idea that if we roll it in, it'll be smart and we can move this over here and we're doing some fancy math. But there's only one way to get rid of the debt, and that's to get rid of the debt. And so I'm going to use as much of that 11.6 take-home pay as I can to attack the car, and that's going to be gone real soon with your income. Then we're going to go after that HELOC at 27.
Okay.
Yeah.
So put the truck ahead of that other 27 that's in that HELOC.
Smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate, that is what's going to get you debt-free as fast as possible with the most progress and keep you guys motivated along the way.
Great job, Julie.
You guys got this. Thank you. We believe in you. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, joined today by Rachel Cruz. This is The Ramsey Show. It's a free call, 888-825-5225. Let's talk about your life and your money. Stephen joins us up next in San Antonio. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Doing great. How can we help?
Good. So I'll dive right into it. My wife and I are morally opposed to the student loan forgiveness. We feel like we are stealing $10,000 from other people. So even though my wife would benefit by receiving $10,000, do you think it would be unwise if we were to not apply or to opt out of it? The other thing is we feel like this would kind of put like an asterisk by our debt-free screen when that day comes. So what are your thoughts?
I think that's a great take. I've used the analogy that if I trained for a marathon for months and I woke up early and I ran in the rain and I ran that marathon, got to the finish line, got my medal, and Rachel Cruz over here gets an Uber to the finish line for the last stretch, and then she gets a medal too, I'm going to be a little bit miffed. But here's the thing. I know I earned it, and Rachel knows that she cheated it. It's like in The Office, that marathon episode. It's exactly what happened.
Oh, my gosh.
So to your credit, Stephen, I think there's a lot of dignity and in just paying it if you want to do that, and that's what you feel morally you're led to do. But there's also nothing immoral about applying for it and getting it. So that's my stance. Rachel probably disagrees vehemently.
No, I don't, even though some people think I do. No, I mean, I don't think it's a moral issue, Stephen. Now, values of kind of what you value, you and your wife, in your journey, what you value about the hard work and knowing that we did this, like all of that, right? I get that. I totally get that. So if that's a value set that you guys have, then you guys pay it off yourselves. That's great. But I don't think it's immoral if you take it. I don't think it's it's quote unquote wrong. And I would say too, I wouldn't, and even people listening, I don't think it gives, I don't know, maybe we disagree on this, George. I don't think it gives an asterisk, because I feel like we've had people on Debt Free Scream stage that say, well, my parents gifted us 10 grand through this thing, and we used it to pay off the credit cards and the car, and so we got to jump, and then we got to pay off the student loans fast, like whatever the story may be, right? Like that sometimes happens, and I don't put an asterisk on their story. I just say, wow, what a gift, what a blessing to your debt-free situation, and you got out of debt that much faster. That's great. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't want
It doesn't take away from your achievement and what you guys have accomplished.
I don't think it would if you do apply and you decide to do that. But if you guys, like, again, I said this on the show 2 days ago and people got all mad at me, but a girl called and she had the money to pay it off, and I said, then pay it off. I think I just pay it off because you have the money. It's there. So I get that. There's a team member, literally, we were talking about it 2 days ago, and they have the money, and they're going to write a check on Monday to pay off their student loan, and his wife was like, we are not taking this, we are paying it off now. So again, it's not a moral, immoral thing. I think it's just a values-based decision that you and your wife, and it sounds like from what you're saying that you're like, I don't feel good taking it. So then I wouldn't.
You started the question that way of I'm morally opposed. So like Dave said on air yesterday, if you've been publicly opposing this thing, yes, it feels hypocritical to then go, I don't take it. But there's nothing wrong with doing it. You're no better than anyone who did take it, but there's nothing wrong with doing that. If that sets you guys up, you're applying it to the baby steps. It's not like you guys are sitting around waiting on a handout. You guys have worked a plan, and you're doing this thing, and if you use that money to propel your financial journey, we're sincerely happy for you. So have you guys paid it off already?
No, we haven't paid it off. We have about probably about $42,000 left, $12,000 sitting in excess savings because we just had a baby, and so this would help us. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a gut call. If in your gut you don't feel good about it, and it doesn't feel right, then don't. You guys can you can work and pay it off for sure.
But if you're so convicted about this, then don't lose sleep over it. So that's on the other side. But there's nothing wrong with doing that. Like if he's going to feel convicted because he got the forgiveness and now he's feeling guilty about it and it is opposing his moral values, it's not worth it to apply for it. If that's
totally.
The case.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yes. For sure.
But there's nothing wrong with this propelling your financial journey, and just seeing it as a gift from Uncle Sam that falls on potentially the taxpayers. We just don't know yet.
It's such a hard conversation, Steve, as we're like stumbling over the feelings of it.
We don't have all the answers.
No, because again, it's a reality that it's out there. Whether you agree it's a reality or not, it's out there. Now, there's all this stuff of like, is it going to have to pass through Congress and Supreme Court and
how
all
are they
this?
paying for this?
There's a lot. Well, we know how
Well, we don't. They're saying that could come from the deficit that apparently they could be creating this year.
Okay.
Who knows?
Okay.
So anyways, we don't truly know what this looks like.
And again, it's this weird juxtaposition of like, it's going to, if it's there, do you take it and see it to propel your life forward? Then that's great. But if you don't feel good about it and you want to just propel your own life forward, that's great. So we don't have an answer for you, Steve.
Rachel, this feels just like the whole, like we dealt with 1,000 calls about the vaccine and it's just like, it goes back to your moral values.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
So thanks for the call, Stephen. It's a great question.
It is. I would go with your
dilemma.
gut, Stephen. I would go with the value set of your family because that's how we make decisions. So again, it's not a moral issue. It's a values question for you and your wife. And if you're leaning one way, I would take that spirit and that gut and I'd follow that. So that's what I would do.
Good question. Thanks for it. Phil joins us up next in Philadelphia. I think that's apropos. Phil, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I've been plugged in to the Ramsey Network since 2021, and in the process of plugging in, I've been able to grow in my financial life, but in other areas of my life, and I've been really appreciative for that. I'm trying to continue to grow as a leader. I'm in a position of leadership in my job, and I want to grow as a leader. And I was just curious if you guys have any book recommendations that I could plug into to accomplish that.
That's an awesome question.
That is
And
a
we
good
probably have
question.
too many books. So I guess it's probably best to go by authors, and then we can throw out a few recommendations.
That's fair. Yeah. For leadership,
I'll let
love
Rachel go first so I don't steal her thunder.
Jim Collins. Obviously, he's a great one. Anything that he's written.
Good to great.
Yep. My favorite book, and I think it's Patrick Lencioni that wrote it, Ideal Team Player.
Yes.
It's one that we use
Hungry,
here.
Humble, Smart.
Yeah, we
It's a
use
huge
that.
one.
You just stole my thunder.
I was helping you.
I'm kidding, George. I'm
It was
totally
a
kidding.
layup.
No, so it's a great, especially if you're a leader, it talks about the ideal team player, and they need to be hungry, they need to be humble, and they need to be smart. Not like intelligent smart, but people smart, relationally smart. So these three things are so key. So if you're having someone on your team that's struggling, it's just a great filter to use. And all of us have strengths and that weaknesses, but that's the one tactically, Phil, that I feel like I use just in my head that I've learned so much from. But that was Patrick, right? That wrote it. Patrick.
Absolutely.
Okay, so ideal
Yeah.
team player, Jim Collins. Now you go.
Great friends of ours. I'm going to go Leaders Eat Last from Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
We're big Simon Sinek fans, and we're big Jim Collins fans, and big Pat Lencioni fans.
Yes.
And, of course, Henry Cloud. I got to mention Boundaries for Leaders.
Yes.
Another great book for leadership growth. And on top of that, we have to mention the OG, Entree Leadership. Have you read that one, Phil?
I have.
It's
Okay.
a great one. And the podcast, Entree Leadership Podcast, which
Yes.
our own George Campbell
I do
hosts.
host
It's a
that,
good
so
one,
that
too.
feels like a great pitch. But we do have a bunch
I
of
picked
leadership
up,
books on our website as well, Phil. So if you want to jump on RamseySolutions.com in the store, we have a lot of non-Ramsey books that Dave is a huge fan of these books. Our leadership team has read these books, and so we recommend them to our folks and fans.
Awesome. Thank you. And yeah, from the Entree Leadership Podcast, I picked up and have read Take the Stairs by Rory. And after listening to your interview with him, and the scales have dropped from my eyes sort of experience, and plugging into all these resources has just been super helpful. So thank you guys very much.
That's
That
awesome,
is awesome to hear, man. That's so cool.
Part of our passion here at Ramsey, it's not just the money stuff. It really is the whole part, and leadership is a big message that we have here, that we, as we run this company right here at Ramsey Solutions, we're all in it together every day, and it's a big part of our
There's a
life.
toxic money culture, and there's a toxic leadership culture.
That's
and
right.
if we can get better leaders, then we'll have better team members who are engaged, who can create more impact in this economy and in this world. So we love that. Appreciate you listening to this show and Entree Leadership, Phil. Thanks so much. That puts this hour of the Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to all of the folks in the booth, the bro booth as we now call it, because Kelly Daniel is no longer in the booth.
She's still
hanging
here,
out.
though. She's still here. Someone was like, did she leave? I'm like, no,
She chose
Kelly's
a new
here.
favorite, Dr. John Deloney, so she's over there producing that show. All right, we'll be back with you before you know it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Rachel Cruz, co-host on The Ramsey Show. If you want to do your debt-free scream live on the show, visit RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream. We'd love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story. That's RamseySolutions.com/debt-free scream.
From Ramsey Network, this is The Ramsey Show, where we help you get control of your money, get ahead in your career, and get on the path to living well. I'm George Campbell, your host, joined today by Rachel Cruz, best-selling author, Ramsey personality, host of The Rachel Cruz Show, and we are here for you, America, taking your calls about life and money. 888-825-5225 is the number to call, and Megan is kicking us off this hour in Dallas, Texas. Megan, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call. How are y'all?
We're happy to take it. Doing great. How can we help?
Okay, so, excuse me. So, from growing up as a kid, my parents always taught me to save my money and to not go into debt, and they're both are finance and accounting majors, and so I'm going to college this fall, and so I've been saving my money, and I have a little under $15,000, and then I have about $3,000 from financial aid, and I plan on not working my first semester and focusing on grades so that my next semester I can get grants and scholarships for grades and then get a job. So my question is, how can I better balance saving money and having fun in college as well as stay in my budget?
Great question. I love that you're even asking this. You are like one of the most mature college students I've ever encountered. Fantastic.
Thank you.
So is this college paid for?
So I'll be paying for it.
No help from mom and dad, no savings
No help
there.
from mom and dad.
You're cash flowing this.
Yep.
What does it cost each semester or each year?
I think it's about tuition's like, well, at least for me, it's like $2,000.
$2,000 a semester?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking $4,000 a year for 4 years?
Yeah, just about.
Okay, so that's $16,000 total, and so that's our number we're aiming for. You have $15,000 in the bank,
right?
And you have $3,000, which is financial aid. Is that actual cash?
Yeah, that's like a Pell Grant money.
Okay, great. Sometimes I look back at my financial aid package, and it was a bunch of loans. So I just wanted to make sure they weren't giving you a $3,000 loan as a gift.
No, it's no loans.
Great, and that's being applied to your first year, the $3,000?
So it's split. So it's like, I think it's like 1,000 and like 300 for the fall semester, and then the rest goes to winter.
Okay, cool. And then where are you living?
I'll be living like on campus.
That's not included in the tuition. So how are you paying for that?
To my $15,000.
Okay. And do you know how much that costs each year?
Not sure how much it is per year.
Okay.
Do you know per semester?
Per semester is $1,359.
Cool. I'm not trying to pop quiz you here. I'm trying to figure out.
No, you're good.
Are you going to be able to cash flow it? And if so, is there any money left over? And what kind of good time are we going to need to have here? What are your actual expenses going to be in college? Do you have a meal plan through the school?
No, I'll be making my own food.
Awesome. Okay, living on campus, making your own food. So we need a food budget.
Right.
And beyond that, you're going to need a little bit of fun money. And are you paying any other expenses? Do you have a car there? Is there fuel, insurance?
No, I'm on my family plan for insurance, and then I won't have a car, so I'll just be walking everywhere.
Okay, cool. And a cell phone?
Nope, I'm on my family plan.
Okay, cool. Great. So have you made a budget yet to put this all on paper and figure out what it's going to look like?
I have partly. I haven't put everything together of all my expenses and food budget or the rent for the full year. I haven't done that yet.
Cool. Well, we're going to gift you 1 year of Every Dollar Premium so that you can make that plan for every single dollar you have coming in, every dollar you have, because the goal here is cash flow college. And the second goal is let's have a good time and have some margin with money to have fun and have some entertainment in there as well and not be, but you should be struggling as a college student. That's normal. But you can also have fun while you're at it.
Yeah, and Megan, you're in a great position. I'm really proud of you. I mean, you got $15,000 saved. You have some grant money, like you said, and then you're going to be working. You're going to be able to do all of this, and your living is great. I mean, $1,300 per semester. I mean, that's wonderful. From a budgeting standpoint. And you have the money. I mean, it's just, it all is flowing really well. And I think for you, it's just to stay on top of it and to have a plan. And I can tell, even by the way you're asking these questions, is to make sure that when you have money to, have a great time, which is part of college too, right? And so budgeting that, though, to give you the freedom and the reassurance and the peace to know, okay, the big stuff is taken care of, so I actually can enjoy myself with the money that I have for fun money.
And to your point about not working, wanting to focus on your grades, I think it's great. But I also found when we did the Borrowed Future podcast, we cited a study that found that if you work 15 to 20 hours a week part-time while in school, they actually have a higher GPA than those that don't work. Is that shocking?
That is, yes.
And I think it makes sense when you think about it because you go, well, those people really need to have some discipline. They got to have budgeted all of their time very wisely. And therefore, they're not, just frivolously hanging out, trying to have a good time. They're focused. They're doing their schoolwork. They're going to work. They're having fun in the meantime. And you can still have a life and work 15 hours a week in college. And that could provide enough to cash flow to where you have money to have fun. And so I think that might be the antidote to this problem is working because it allows you to have a good time. And if you find your grades slipping because of work, then dial it back. And let's take a semester off of that.
Okay, got it.
Thanks so much for the call. We'll make sure Austin picks up and gifts you every dollar premium. Along with that, I'm going to give you Financial Peace University. Watch it with your friends in the dorm. That'll be fun, right?
Wow, George, you're
Rachel,
a good
you
time.
did that.
You're a great time.
When you were in college, I'm sure you were watching Financial Peace University.
I was like, oh yeah, guys, come here, all my Chi Omega sisters, and
I knew you were Chi Omega.
we're gonna watch this lesson on dumping debt.
Can I be honest, Rachel? I didn't know like what a sorority really was
What?
until I moved to the South.
Oh, really?
And I went to this private little Christian college. We didn't even have like Greek life.
Man, it's a thing.
Like I'm Middle Eastern. I thought Greek life was like you eat hummus. Like I didn't understand that's what it meant. And so my wife went to Arkansas. She was Chi Omega. She was on the prom squad.
Chi-O?
Yes. You guys need to bro
Really?
down about that.
We need to do the secret handshake.
But I'm still confused about
There
it.
is
Okay,
one.
here's the thing with sororities, and prove me wrong,
Okay.
set me straight,
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
you got to do.
I can.
You pay a whole bunch of money
For friends.
to live basically in the White House and have like servant people bring you meals.
Okay, hold on.
They had a private chef.
I did the University of Tennessee when I was there. They do now, but we did not have sorority houses. We had a sorority dorm at the University of Tennessee because of an old law in Tennessee, which is fascinating that a certain number of women legally could not live in a house. So they had to like get the law. Yes.
What kind of old-timey, antiquated
You
Tennessee?
know how there's random laws in states that it's
Yes.
like, wait, what? Like it's one of those. So
Interesting.
somehow they got it removed or whatever. So now the University of Tennessee does have sorority dorms. We did not. We had dorms, and I did sorority, and I did Young Life. I was a Young Life leader, so
Good.
I did
You balanced
the
it out.
mix of all of it. But it was a great time. I mean, it was so fun.
I believe it. Whitney says the same thing. But I'm like, that sets you up for failure to live in a really nice house, have everyone
No,
cook
it's
for
not a
you,
nice house.
and
No,
do your
no.
laundry.
The rooms look like dorm rooms, though, in these houses. They're not like, it's not like Legally Blonde
I've been
or
to
something.
the University of Arkansas campus.
Are you thinking of Legally
These
Blonde?
houses, no, I'm not.
They look-
I'm never thinking
Oh
of
my gosh,
Legally
they
Blonde.
look
Please know
beautiful.
that. Never.
They look beautiful, but the inside are like dorm rooms.
We're going to get the show back on the rails
Oh my
soon, folks.
gosh.
More of it coming up. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined today by Rachel Cruz. Just a moment ago, Rachel and I were talking about sororities. I do not understand them. She was trying to help me understand them. I thought they don't set you up for adult life because someone is cooking for you and doing your laundry. I'm like, isn't that what you should be learning to do in college so you can be an adult? And then Rachel Cruz just dropped a bomb in the conversation. What happened, Rachel?
I know.
Because you're
Well,
not truly a Chi-O, are you?
I dropped the end of my junior year because I was engaged to
For a
Winston.
boy?
No, not just for him, but I'm like, I was engaged. I was interning at Ramsey. I was speaking. I was like, I was done with college. I was like, I'm ready to move on to adult life, all of it. So I didn't want to go to the meetings. If you don't go to the meetings, you get fined. It's this whole thing. I don't even know if you knew that, George. Yep, it's true. And
You
so,
get
anyways, so
fined?
I dropped, and when you drop, specifically Chi Omega, they make you turn in your PIN. Like I am not a legacy anymore, so I can't write a
Like
rec.
a cop turning in his badge?
I can't write a rec for my girls. Like their only legacy they have, my sister was a Chi-O, so she can write. I don't
They
know.
use the word
And so-
legacy?
yes.
Oh
So
my
all
goodness.
that to say, technically in like the legalistic world of so is sorority life, I technically am not a Chi Omega, but I was. So if anyone has connections
To the president of Chi Omega.
to the president of Chi Omega,
Reach out to Rachel on
I think that their
Instagram.
main like headquarters is in Texas. There's a supreme governing
This is
council.
what privilege sounds like.
Wow.
Oh, ow.
Ouch.
Ow.
James, the producer, said this
I did
is
pull
what
a
privilege
string. I
sounds
did
like.
pull. I would rewind my life for a minute ago and not have this conversation. if I
But you know
could.
what? This is the elitist classism I expected from a
Stop!
sorority.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, that was my confession to George. That technically I'm claiming Chi Omega, and I can't claim it because I'm technically not one
But
anymore because I
truthfully,
dropped.
now Rachel,
and I
you
wanted
love
to work, and I wanted to move on with my. I wanted to not be a college student.
you
anymore.
love a conspiracy theory, and I have a new one that sororities and fraternities are scams created by colleges to make more money and keep you loyal to the alumni program. That's my hot take.
True
or false?
No, I think false.
Hold on. Okay.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
We'll get into that later.
And fraternities are a different thing than sororities. Can I say that too?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah, I would say that. But okay, let's move on.
We didn't have beer pong at my very Christian private school, Rachel. Okay, we were good folks. Anyways, Maria's on the line. She needs actual help, and we're gonna try to help Maria out in Toledo. Maria, how you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
My question is regarding our housing costs, me and my husband. So last year, we took a home equity line of credit out to make major necessary repairs to the house. And we did that with the plan to sell the house once the repairs were made, because the market was so high, right? We could get a ton for the house. And so we made the repairs, and we listed the house and started looking at what we could afford. And it turned out that even if we spent as much as the bank said we could afford, the houses were definitely a downgrade from what we already had. So we decided to take the house off the market and stay put. So there's the history.
Okay.
Currently, our house costs are like this. We owe $57,000 on our original mortgage loan at 4.125%, and we owe $24,000 on the HELOC at 5.5%. Well, we got a call from the bank reminding us that our HELOC interest rate is variable, although it would never jump or decrease more than 0.5% at a time. We are currently paying $600 a month for the original mortgage and $235 on the HELOC per month. But money is so tight that the $835 a month is really a problem for us. We're living paycheck to paycheck and using savings and credit to make up any difference that each month may have. So I looked into refinancing in order to combine the monthly payment into a lower amount for us. The interest rate would be 5.25%. A 30-year refi would cost $659 a month. A 20-year would cost $778 a month, and a 15-year isn't really doable for us because it would be more. It would be $875 a month. So my question is, I'm having trouble deciding if it's the best option for us to refinance because the original loan interest rate was only 4.125%. So the rate on one loan is lower than the current rate, and the rate on the other loan is higher. So I wanted to get your advice on should we refinance.
Well, I'll tell you, Maria, based on everything you just shared, I'm less worried about interest rate and more worried about you guys living in a cycle of paycheck to paycheck.
How much you guys make a year, Maria?
We're a single income home. My husband makes about $55,000.
Okay.
Do you guys have kids?
We have 3 kids, and I homeschool, and that is non-negotiable. So me going to work isn't really an option to boost income.
Okay. What does he do for work?
He does, like, audio-visual install. So not exactly IT, but he does, like, big-scale where you put in access key cards to get into big businesses and stuff like that.
Cool. Does he work for a company?
He does.
Okay. Could he do side work, installing, mounting TVs in the neighborhood, things like that, with his talent?
He probably could, and I have entertained the idea of, like, cleaning houses when he's home, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to get creative right now. Long term, we need to get income.
Yeah, and what other debt do you guys have?
We have $3,000 in credit card debt. Now, we could technically pay for that. We have $8,000 in savings.
Okay.
But like I said, we're living in a cycle where we have to dip into savings fairly regularly. So it's concerning to us to take that $3,000 away when we might need it.
Yes. Yeah, I hear that. Okay. Is that the only debt? Do you guys have any cars or personal loans, student loans?
No.
Okay. Yeah. So the biggest thing, Maria, is, when it comes down to it, you just looking at the math that you guys can't even with basically how you're living right now, it's not working, right? What the money coming in is going right back out, and you're still in the red. So you're having to dip into savings and charging some stuff on credit cards. So yeah, the cycle has to stop. George is right. And so you guys have to get so disciplined and make some changes. You really do. You have to be able to say, okay, either we're going to have to up this income of the $55,000, and then that means changing jobs. I don't know what that means for him, but you guys have to bring in more money that is sustainable, because we're not talking about anything crazy here. It's not like you guys have 2 car payments, 2 student loans, all of this, and when all that gets paid off, there's going to be a lot of margin, because you guys are down to kind of just the necessities is what it feels like. And so what's hard is to create that margin. There has to be life change, and that part of that could be cutting expenses and upping income. Those are the 2 big ways that money flows. Money flows in and money flows out. And so looking at both of those is going to be really, really important. And with the math, I would keep the HELOC and the mortgage separate. And like George said, the interest rate is it's not going to completely change your life. Really having margin in your month to month budget will. It's going to create breathing room, and I think a big part of that is income.
Yeah, and looking at the numbers here, $835. What's your take-home pay?
About $2,900.
So we're talking almost a third of your take-home pay is being eaten up by the mortgage, which the mortgage is $600. So what I would do, honestly, I'd pay off the credit card today, leaving with $5,000, and then I'm cutting up the cards, and that's just not an option anymore. And we have to figure it out. And if we have any expenses come up, we're going to cash flow that and pause the debt snowball as we attack the HELOC. So that would be your next goal, is completely wipe out that HELOC, giving you back $235 in your life every month. And now we can breathe. And now this mortgage is affordable. And now we can actually save for college and pay off the house early and do all of these things. So we want to help you along this journey. I'm going to gift you 1 year of Financial Peace University, and along with that, every dollar premium to help you guys make a plan for every single dollar coming in. Watch those videos as a family, get fired up, and say no more. We're cutting up the cards. Debt is not
We're up
an
in the
option.
income.
And up in the income. And that's temporary. Once we have the HELOC, we can breathe, we can stop all the side jobs and enjoy life again. But right now, it's go time. You got this. Hang on the line. Austin will pick up and we'll get you those gifts. Thanks so much for the call. This is The Ramsey Show.
Thank you.
Every time you hear someone do their debt-free scream on this show, it's because at some point they said, enough! I'm not living like this anymore. I've had it. And when you get mad like that and do what they did, your life will change too. And right now, inflation and your stupid credit cards are killing you. You've started to believe you're not in control of your money. But you're wrong. You have to decide to control what you can control. And that's you, your behavior. You have the power to change your future. And Financial Peace University will show you how. This course will teach you the proven step-by-step plan that's helped nearly 10 million people beat debt, master budgeting, and build wealth. And you can do it too. Guys, stop letting debt and money stress control your life. Say enough and take back control. You can start Financial Peace University at RamseySolutions.com/enough. That's RamseySolutions.com/enough. Marty joins us in Las Vegas. Marty, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you so much for grabbing my call. I'm so excited.
We are very much excited too. How can we help?
So I have a question for you guys. I got married about 4 going on 5 years ago, and I had purchased my house, my first house, when I was 20. So before I got married, I had my own house. Then we got married, we bought a house together, and we bought a vehicle together. About 2 years ago, I sold that house. And well, first of all, I worked my butt off to pay it off. So by the time I sold it, it was 100% free and clear.
Wow.
Amazing.
And thank you. Yeah, I had to work really, really, really hard to accomplish that. And to even buy a house at 20, I definitely had to work my butt off. But with that being said, my husband always said, whatever you do or don't do with that house, like that's you, because you did that. I didn't have partake in it, or he didn't put money towards it and stuff like that. So now, recently I've been, kind of buckling down and trying to get him more on the same page as finances as me. And 2 weeks ago, we had this wonderful conversation where I felt like, oh my God, we're going to move forward together with finances and stuff like that. We are working on paying off our debt. We don't have any credit card debt. The only debt that we have is a car loan and then our house. Both of those together are $258,000. Which right now, through the sale of the house, and then I own a small business, I've always been more of a saver. I mean, I like to spend, but I've also been diligent about saving. I have about $430 cash. That now I brought up the fact that, well, maybe I should pay off the house, but my husband doesn't want me to do that because he believes that that is my money and that the house is ours and we should be tackling that together. So another thing that I wanted to do, it's always been a dream of mine to own a beach condo or, somewhere on the beach as a vacation. And it came an opportunity that we went to Mexico about 2 months ago, and I loved where we stayed. And they're building a new development that's right on the beach, and they're selling condos there. So I wanted to go ahead and do that, but then I just don't. I already spoke to my accountant. He said, yeah, go ahead. We looked at the numbers. I could definitely pull it off. But then I kind of feel like I'm doing that and I can pay off our house. I don't know, which way to go right now.
Great question. Well, if I'm in your shoes, which is how we answer questions on this show, the car and the mortgage are paid off today. And we're going to celebrate, and you're going to tell your husband, listen, all of the good stuff and the bad stuff from our past, which in your case is good stuff, a paid-for house, is now our stuff. If you came in with student loan debt and he said, well, I feel like that's your student loan debt, so you can pay that. It's the same situation on the flip side. You came in with a fully paid-for house, and he gets the benefit of an awesome wife with a paid-for house. And so this is your money. Do you guys have combined bank accounts?
Yeah, so we have one combined bank account, and then we do have separate accounts each, I guess. Well, one of the things that maybe, and I don't know if this would, if this would matter. So he was previously married and he has 2 kids. And then we have 2 kids together. So I always said, my rental house, it was basically going to be passed on to my kids. So he always said, well, that's fine. Whatever you want to do with that, if you want to inherit our kids all that money, you can go ahead and do that or whatever you wanted to do. So I think that's why he kind of feels like this house is our house. We should pay it off together. And then you could do whatever you want with that money aside.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what he's saying, but also I think more of it for me, Marty, is the spirit behind it. And it's still playing this game of yours and mine, yours and mine, yours and mine. And the deal is, when you get married, this I feel like has become even more old school advice, which is just so funny to me. When you become married, you just become one in everything. We are taking on each other's lives together, hand in hand. And it's us together. And the fastest for you guys, not only to win financially, but I think even more importantly, to be united as a couple. It is all of our chips are in. We are all in this together. And the more you kind of split hairs between that and this, and well, it's this, that, the more the division is just naturally going to be there. And so I think for the healthiest marriage possible on the planet is to say, we, no matter what, regardless, what George said, the good, the bad, the ugly, we're locking arms. And the moment I say I do, I am selflessly giving my life up to join another person. That is the holy commitment of marriage. And it's an amazing thing when that starts to happen. And so I would sit down with him and just say, hey, this is what I've been wrestling with and what I think. And I think all of us combined, to be able to have the dream, right? To me, the dream would be for you, a paid off house, the car paid for, and a condo in Mexico. That's a dream. I'm like, heck yeah. Heck yeah. So how do we get there together? Well, let's pay off the mortgage. When you don't have a mortgage, do you know how much you can save every month from that when you don't have a car payment and a mortgage? And you're going to, you'll be able to pay, you'll still have money left over from the sale of your house that you guys can combine and say, okay, what will it take to save up for this condo? And you can just get to your dreams and your goals so much faster when you're not sitting there and nitpicking everything. Well, that's yours, that's like, do this together. Let's just make a huge explosion with our lives and our money, and let's get there. Let's get to Mexico.
Preach, Rachel. Preach. Take us with you.
I know. We'll come visit, Marty.
Yes.
That plan just feels very freeing to me.
How much do you guys make a year? I'm curious.
So he's a bartender at a steakhouse. So, depending on tips and stuff like that, it varies. And with my small business, I would probably say we bring in around $150 a year, give or take.
Okay. Yep. And how much is the condo?
The condo is $360.
$360. Okay. So yeah, I mean, man, you got a great jump start once the mortgage is paid off and the car is paid off for this condo, and you guys just killing it together and paying cash for it here in a few years. And I just think it's awesome. So
I love this plan. How much money do you guys have? You have the $430 in cash from the sale. How much other liquid cash do you have?
So I have, as far as liquid cash together, we have about $10,000 in emergency savings, and that's about it.
Outside of the $430.
Outside of the $430, and then outside of the $430, and that's another thing. Retirement, I have about $60.
Cool. So what I would be doing, I'm going to lay out the plan very quickly and clearly before we end here. If you use all the proceeds, the $430, you pay off the mortgage in the car today, it leaves you with $172. You've got $10,000 in the emergency fund. Now we can begin investing 15% of our income into retirement, and that $172 becomes the starter fund for this condo, which making $150 and your income will be increasing over the next few years. With no payments in the world, you guys can save up another $100,000, $200,000 and pay cash for a condo within a few years.
Yeah.
And that's a decision we're going to make together. Every financial decision we make together, including your $430, including his whatever, we make every decision together, regardless of where the money came from, because we are one. We sleep in the same bed. So let's make decisions like that.
Yes, thank you.
There you go, Marty. I hope you get through to him. You guys are crushing it. So proud of you guys. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, Psalm 73:26. My flesh and my heart may fail, but God is the strength of my heart and my portion forever. Robin Williams once said, there's no shame in failing. The only shame is not giving things your best shot. R.I.P. All right, Dakota joins us up next in Madison, Wisconsin. Dakota, welcome to the show.
Thank you, George and Rachel. I appreciate you guys taking my call today.
Absolutely. How can we help?
All right. So I am in baby step 1 currently, and I'm looking for side hustles. I was approached by a friend of an opportunity to work with a company called Primerica. And they mainly do work doing term life insurance, which is, right up Dave's alley. So everything that he was talking about sounded pretty good. The only kicker is that it costs about $100 for the license to be able to sell the insurance. So I was wondering if this would be a good opportunity for a side hustle, or since I have to come out of pocket since I'm in baby step 1, if I should try to find a more conventional, like maybe hourly paying job or, some other kind of side hustle instead.
Cool.
It's a great question. I'm trying to I feel like that they're set up almost like a MLM.
Multi-level marketing style.
Yeah.
Which is probably why your buddy's pitching this
with insurance
to get you into this.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Do you like insurance, Dakota? Does it sound fun, or is this the opportunity, the money side? Is that what kind of?
Yeah, so it is definitely, mainly the money side.
Yeah.
But he said that the company pretty much teaches Dave Ramsey principles, and I've been listening for years, and pretty much cut my debt in half since listening. But I'm interested in learning more about life insurance because eventually I'm going to need it. But yeah, it was mainly the money that attracted me to it.
Totally. Well, with the setup of it, I mean, I think it's up to you. I mean, there's a part of me that I kind of always just like being just a one-to-one, right? As just a regular employee versus kind of being in a situation that I don't know, the way the money flows. I'm not 100% confident.
It is a multi-level marketing setup.
It is for sure.
It's based on recruiting, and then you can make money from the commissions on insurance. But truthfully, I wouldn't get tied up in it, Dakota. I think you can make just as much money doing other side hustles that don't pull you into this, that don't have initiation fees, which is a big way they make their money. And so I'm not mad at them. It's a legitimate company with a legitimate product that we would recommend, which is term life insurance. But I would steer you away from that and onto something else that you enjoy, number one, that can also pay well. So what are you doing right now full time?
Full time, I am a BIM drafter, so I basically do all the construction documents for a home builder in Wisconsin.
Oh, cool. Are there opportunities outside of that where you could do something similar in the construction field?
Well, I do have so I have a background in carpentry, which, I love to build things.
There we go.
I've just been a little bit leery about taking the dive into trying to find my own jobs. Everything's been kind of like found or the work that I've done on the side in carpentry has been through my father. So just a little nervous on that end.
And nervous because you feel like you have to invest in equipment? Like or that you're not going to have many leads? What makes you nervous?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I have most of the tools that I would need to do basic jobs, but being able to find consistent work, and then I'm not sure how like insurance or if I need insurance in order to create a business starting off.
Yeah, but if you just did one-off pieces for people, would that bring in good money for a complete side hustle? For a side hustle.
Yeah, as long as I could keep on finding the work.
Yeah.
Do you live in a neighborhood, Dakota?
Yeah, doesn't everybody?
Exactly. And here's what I'm telling you. In your neighborhood, there are several opportunities, and once people get wind that Dakota is great with his hands, he does great carpentry work, oh man, I need a table built, oh man, I need the shelving built, you will have leads out your eyeballs, but you won't be able to keep up with the work because of how busy you are. So that's something I would recommend. Okay. There's probably a Facebook group for your community somewhere. I would jump in there and say, hey, I'm Dakota. I got a side hustle. I'm a carpenter. I can build this, and this. Here's some of my work. And as soon as you do some good work, that word gets around, and that can be some great side money that could be way more than you would have made with this Primerica deal.
Okay.
So believe in yourself, man. You got a great skill that not a lot of people have these days, and a lot of people want that. So I would start there, and you can do a side hustle. You can do Uber Eats and DoorDash and dog sit and babysit and dog walk and mow lawns. There's so many ways you can make money. So do something right now that you can start today, and then try to get this carpentry side hustle off the ground.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah. We're cheering you on the debt-free journey, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Just one more quick question. Do you guys, this might get a little bit too in-depth, but you guys happen to know if or when I would need insurance as a contractor?
That's a great question. I would reach out to a carpenter in your area and see if they'd be willing to kind of mentor you, get coffee, and say, hey, here's how I built my business. Here's the point. Here's the threshold.
Are you wanting to do this full-time, Dakota, or just as a side hustle?
Well, eventually I like to own my own home building company, but
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say if you're going to go down that road, then George is right. Yeah, find someone that's doing what you want to do and just say, hey, in the next 5 years, it's a dream of mine for that. But for this point, to get you out of debt, to pay the rest of your debt off, just as a side hustle, just to build some stuff and sell it, yeah, you wouldn't need insurance. But if you're going to start a full-blown business, then yeah, that's a whole other discussion. But yeah, that's awesome. So I think one thing too to circle back to, not Primerica specifically, but a lot of people do multi-level marketing, and a lot of women do that in, if you're staying at home and all of that. And so always my word of advice with that stuff is where a lot of people make the money is the ones that get in not just early, but they're recruiting. So if you feel like I'm really passionate about makeup, or I'm really passionate about vitamins, or whatever the thing is, to make money, good money, lots of money in those companies, it's not about the products themselves and selling them. It really is the recruiting side. So always just knowing that ahead of time, because I feel like I've talked to many people and they're like, oh man, we paid the fee to not just
promises.
get in, not just to get in, but also to buy the product and all, so on and so forth. And then I got in, and you're burned out 5 months later because you realize, oh wow, it wasn't as selling the product wasn't the main thing. It really is a recruiting tool. So just as a, not right, wrong, or indifferent, but I think that's just a good.
A lot of them require a lot of upfront money. You have to buy a certain amount of product, and then you're stuck with that product. And if you want to get some real insider information, Google the company name and then income disclosure. And what you'll find is they legally have to disclose how much people make. And 98% of people don't make enough to live off of doing this. And a lot of people are doing it as side hustle, but very few are making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 doing these MLM gigs. So that makes me very leery, on top of the fact that there's a lot of money you have to put in.
Yeah, we're not mad at them, but I do want people to be
there's some
informed
legitimate ones
of
that
what
have good
it
products,
is,
and
of what it is. Yeah,
I don't want to lump them all into a bad bucket.
But it's important to know, because I think it's always a conversation going on.
But it wouldn't be my first choice for a side hustle if you're in baby step 2 and you need money quick.
And you're Dakota and you can make stuff. I'm like, do you know how much money people would make?
If you're in the trades, I'm telling you, in my neighborhood Facebook group, if you work well, you show up on time, you do good work, you have good people skills, you are going to be like the townsperson carpenter. So
love it.
Good for you, Dakota. Awesome. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to my fantastic co-host, Rachel Cruz, all the folks in the booth, Austin, Ben, James, Zach's in there, Andrew's in there, the whole gang keeping the show afloat, and you, America. We appreciate you listening. We'll be back with you before you know it. Until then, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.